personally, how does this feel for you hearing this news of the mass shooting down in Pittsburgh?
It's a terrible thing. It's a horrible thing to imagine that such a thing happened at all, let alone a life cycle event uh, that is around bringing a new life into the world. Is makes it really that much more difficult.
Gotcha. And the whole probably the whole ceremony. Can you explain what this ceremony is and how sacred this ceremony is, and for or yeah, explain to me how sacred the ceremony is that they were doing today.
Well, I actually have heard two different things. I haven't researched it myself, but one person told me that there was a bris, which is a ceremony for a baby boy, where a circumcision happens or something ceremonially similar. And someone else said there was a baby naming. Often they're the same event, but they may happen in different ways at different times depending on the age of the child. So, I don't know a lot of details about exactly what was happening, but either way, it was, to recognize bringing a new young life into the community.
Gotcha. And doing that and having, I heard he was spewing, racial slurs, saying all Jews must die. Hearing that, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's a terrible thing. My grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. He's virtually the only member of his family to survive the Holocaust. So I think it's something that Jewish people are very aware of, and that's unfortunate. To my knowledge, there have not been threats
Okay.
to our Jewish community center ever. Several years ago, there was some anti-Semitic graffiti happening in Mill Creek Park.
Mm.
Certainly, it's our city, but geographically, that's not close, to the community center, and we weren't directly correlated to that in any way. Even the person they apprehended related to it didn't, necessarily say anything about us.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Now you may be referring to the national news story where there were many bomb threats to JCCs all over the country. That happened within the last several years, but there were no bomb threats at our JCC in Youngstown.
And what do you all do now for as far as security?
Well, so like I said, the Jewish people are unfortunately very aware of the level of intolerance and anti-Semitism that's out there. And so we are also very forward-thinking. Within the last year and a half, our campus on Gypsy Lane has invested in over $350,000 worth of security infrastructure upgrades, which includes everything from improved fencing to camera systems to additional door locks. Quite a few practical items. Very expensive though. And then on top of that, we have created a security team, and we now have a commissioned officer on duty every hour that we're open. And in addition to that, we have a full-time security coordinator who oversees all of it. And then, certainly he works full-time. So at those times, there's actually two commissioned officers on our campus. And we have a sophisticated communication system that allows the whole campus to be not only monitored but communicated with in an instant. And we have developed quite a powerful infrastructure to communicate with the other synagogues and the rest of the Jewish communal properties in the greater Youngstown area. So we are as prepared as someone could be for any sort of problem, and we feel it is very much our duty. We operate two schools in our building, and we have hundreds of seniors who come through our building every single day. And that, frankly, includes my 5 children go to school in our building. So, this is, and I only live 2 blocks away, as do many of our employees. So, this is very central to us. It's very important to us that we're forward-thinking and security conscious.
Gotcha. And with this happening in Pittsburgh, do you think you're going to up security at all, or is it just going to stay the same?
We have we respond. So we are very diligently tapped into intelligence networks, and we are regularly responding to what we believe are threats and increasing our security force, gauging it accordingly. So we're constantly adjusting the metric of what we feel our needs are. And, certainly we are on a heightened sense of alert. Gotcha. We have a great relationship, though, with the YPD, with Liberty Police. We coordinate on behalf of the synagogues. And we also have a good relationship with our local representatives and with the Department of Homeland Security.
Gotcha. So basically, it's you base it off of, or you base the security off of what threats you all see could be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But at our minimum, we have a security team that includes a commissioned police officer, every hour that we're open, at the minimum.
Gotcha. And for this to be so close to home, it's roughly an hour and 30 away. How do you feel the Jewish community as a whole in Youngstown is probably feeling right now? I know that's a pretty tough one to.
Well, frankly, very, very concerned because the Jewish community worldwide is a small community. So you can imagine that many of our families live in Pittsburgh, and many of my coworkers and community members, children and siblings and parents live in Pittsburgh. And just through the flurry of events this morning, I'm aware of a half dozen people from Youngstown who are just heading to their family's house in Pittsburgh tonight because they feel that that's where they need to be. So we are a very closely linked community, and for many people, it is directly personal.
Gotcha. And
it's a very well-known synagogue, Tree of Life Synagogue.
Mm-hmm.
Any of us could have been there for this event, frankly.
And going back to the people in Youngstown that do you know if they would want to talk to me at all about it, even if it's not today, another day, but if they could today, it would be amazing that are going down to Pittsburgh to check on their family? They
probably would. I think I can comfortably say that the head of our federation is actually one of those people. His daughter and son-in-law live in the Pittsburgh area, and I know he's going to visit them tonight.
Okay, yeah. If you want to give him my number, or I get his number, whichever one, and if you could have him call me, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I will. Yeah,
and,
I'll send it to him.
Okay, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. And just going back to this could have happened here. Are you afraid that it might happen here, and even if it's not at the community center or another synagogue?
The Youngstown community, our Jewish community in Youngstown is one of the oldest Jewish communities in the country. My synagogue has been here since 1865, and we've always been very fortunate to have excellent relationships with Youngstown, at large, our community, the city around us, and we have never had in the past that I'm aware of. I obviously can't speak back to 65. I'm sure there've been problems, right? But in the recent past, we've not had any reasons to fear that there was going to be a problem. But as I described, we have invested significantly in securing our campuses because we feel that it is our duty to prepare for the worst. So for us, it isn't really about whether or not we expect it to happen. We feel that it's our obligation to make sure that we're prepared.
Gotcha.
So in short, I don't have any reason to believe there's a problem, except for that, I see what happens in the rest of the country.